Welcome to this week's Stalking the Wild Autoharp. And today we're going to talk about why is my harp making that sound? Do you ever find a buzz in your harp? Maybe you're a new player and you're hearing some sounds that you're not quite so sure your harp is supposed to be making. Well, today I'm going to show you 2 or 3 different reasons why your strings might buzz. I'm going to show you some things on this autoharp, and I'm going to show you some things on an Oscar Schmidt autoharp because they're set up a little bit different, okay? I actually set these buzzes up before making the video just so you could hear them and so that I could correct them for you live on the show, and you can see where those buzzes are coming from and how to make them go away. So I have programmed some buzz into this autoharp so that I can show you how to take them out. And I've put them on these bottom 2 strings for you to see. So let's deal with this first string. Can you hear that rattling? It's not super loud. But what is actually happening is this string has to cross over this metal rod, go past this little tuning pin, or this bridge pin here. I don't know if these are the names of them. This is the bridge. This rod is actually where the vibration ends. All this part of the string down here vibrates and shakes, and this part does not. And so as it crosses this bridge, it stops shaking. But on this particular harp, this string is not pushing down very tight on this bridge right here. And so it's vibrating on top of the bridge and ringing on down into this part of the string and causing buzz right here. And I'll show you why it's happening. On these harps that have this bridge set up, the strings have to bend down really tight after they go across this bridge down to the pin, and you will see some real sharp angles, and the pins actually go down, or the string actually goes down to the bottom of the pin to where the wood of the top is. Well, look at this string. It's up about a ½ centimeter there from the top, and it goes more almost straight across to the pin, and that's what's causing the buzz. So fixing it is real easy, okay? All you have to do is get this pushed down to the level of the wood. So how do you do that? Well, first you have to loosen the string. So we're going to turn it just a little bit, and you see it popped right down to where it wanted to go. I was going to show you that sometimes I have to take a little, like a screwdriver, and push down on the string. And then when I turn it back up, I hold the string down. So you see now there's a more intense angle. And the wire is running right down to the bottom of the peg. Okay? And that is going to correct the sound. Let me tune the pin now. And there's no buzz. So we fixed the buzz in this bottom string. Now let's look at the horrendous buzz in this string. Now this is the second string, okay? In this case, we check the angle and hey, it's bending down right to the wood there. So, or it's pretty darn close. Anyway, we're getting a real tight crossing right here. So the buzz can't be coming from there. Where could it be coming from? Well, it's coming from all the way down at the other end of the string. So let's go down there and take a look and see what's going on. Okay, in this case, this is the other end of my Daigle harp, where the fine tuners are and the string anchor. And you'll see there's another bridge down here with a wire crossing, with a rod that the wires have to cross, and they get choked off there, and that's the end place for the vibration for these strings. They don't vibrate out beyond this. But there's this fine tuner setup. And in this case, the buzz is coming from the fine tuner. The way these fine tuners work is there's a little screw that screws down onto the string. It kind of works like this. You've got the string, and then the screw comes down and pushes down on top of the string and adds tension to the string, and as the screw comes down, it pushes down tight on the string, and it makes the string rise in pitch. Okay? But in the case of this string here, which is our string with the buzz, this fine tuner screw isn't set down far enough. The fine tuner needs to be screwed down so that the buzz stops. So we're going to twist that down. See, it stopped immediately once I turned it down, and you can hear the pitch rising. So adjusting the fine tuner took the buzz out of this Daigle harp. Now, other harps like Oscar Schmidt's have different fine tuners and different bridges, and they have to be dealt with differently. So I'm going to show you that next. So take a look at what we have here. This is an Oscar Schmidt B model harp, and one of the main things that makes it a B model is it has these bridge posts instead of a bridge with a rod. And each bridge post has a little groove that channels the string to come by it at an appropriate level. And the difference between a B model like this and the A model, like the harp I showed you on the last harp at the bridge, is these bridge pins. And on these, the wire is not supposed to slope down, but it's supposed to go straight across the way these two are. These two are going straight across at the level of the groove, straight across to the tuning peg. But this one is angling down just like it did on the A model. And on the A model, that would have been appropriate. It goes from the groove up here and slopes down to the level of the wood. And on an A model, that would be okay. But on a B model, it's supposed to go straight across. So we're going to do the opposite. Instead of pushing this one down, we're going to lift it up. And so in order to do that, we have to put our wrench on there and loosen the string a little bit. Then we have to put something underneath. And I recommend something that won't scratch the top of the Autoharp. This is a paintbrush with a plastic handle. That'll work pretty good. You could use a matchstick, but you want something that will lift up that wire, and then you tighten it up again so that it goes straight across. And now if you look at it from the side, you will see, when it focuses again, that it's going straight across to the bridge pin instead of angling down to the wood. So a B model needs the wire to go straight across. An A model with the bridge stick needs the wire to slope down to the wood. So by doing this, we will have cured the string of its buzz, or hopefully we would. But sometimes just like on the A model, down at the other end, there are problems. And this harp does not have fine tuners, so I've drawn a fine tuner in the next diagram for you to see so that we can talk about string buzzes that happen down there at the other end of a B model harp. So follow me down there and we'll take a look. So this is a drawing of the bottom end of an Oscar Schmidt autoharp with fine tuners. And the Oscar Schmidt that I was just showing you doesn't have fine tuners, so I decided to draw a fine tuner so that I could show you where buzz comes from if you have fine tuners on your Oscar Schmidt autoharp. This is the string. We're looking at it from the side. This is the string, and this is the little fine tuner cam. It's called a cam because it rocks back and forth, but I like to call it a horse because it looks like a horse shape, hence a rocking horse. Okay, and as you can see, the string goes across this surface and then it goes down through a hole in the cam, and it actually pops out down here where the little barrel on the end of the string resides. And if you could see through the little horsey, it would go down like that. And then this part over here, this is the screw. You put the Allen wrench into the screw and you turn it, and it makes the horse tilt back and pull back on the string, putting more tension on it. Okay? But what I wanted to show you is this right here. I'm going to draw a little arrow right in there. That little V-shaped area right there can cause a buzz with the vibrating string vibrating against it. Not sure why, but probably it just doesn't squeeze down tight on the top of the cam the way it's supposed to. And so what you need to do is you need to get that cam to rock back. If you're getting a buzz on your Oscar Schmidt autoharp and you've already checked stuff up at that end and that all checks out, the next thing to do is to look at your fine tuner from the side and see if you have a tiny little V-shaped area like that coming off the front. So you need to get it to rock back, and what that looks like when you've done that is it's going to look more like this, with the fine tuner, with the string coming right off the top of the fine tuner and headed that way with no little tiny area inside of it. And what that does is it makes the V go away, and so it makes the buzz go away, hopefully. So I wanted to show you another buzz that I just found. This one is on this Oscar Schmidt harp, and it's on the F chord, and it involves the very lowest string, which is the string that I just showed you a fix for up at the top. But that string is still buzzing, but it's buzzing for another reason. And I'm going to play through this chord. You hear that? Now that's a felt buzz. And it is buzzing because this chord bar has an opening for the F string, the low F string, which is vibrating back and forth, but it's not quite wide enough. And so when the string vibrates back and forth, and these big fatty strings vibrate pretty far when they their frequency is low and they move a lot when they vibrate. And so as it vibrates this way, it's touching the corner of one of the felts in the groove. And so that needs to be widened so that it can ring free. Okay? And so I have to go in and I have to pull that cord bar off, and I have to take a little razor blade and trim that felt a little bit wider so that it rings free instead of giving that horrendous buzz, and then it will ring just great. And I will show you that in a minute after I've done it. Okay. There you have it. I got in there and shaved off the felt and opened it up, and now that low F is ringing clear without that ugly buzz. There's other kinds of buzzes that happen too, like when something on your harp is shaking, buzzing sympathetically with a certain string. In other words, you go through these troubleshooting steps. You hear a buzz from a certain string. Always find the certain string first, okay? And then look at both ends. If there's a fine tuner, look at that. If there's, check out the bend or the lack of bend above the bridges to find out if they're there. If it's not, it's still buzzing. Then you have to go around and you have to play the string. Let's say it's that one, and it has it's causing a weird buzz somewhere, and you can't find it. You have to start going around and touching things and seeing if it stops. Touch your buttons. Put your hand down on all your buttons while you play the string. See if it stops. If you have tuner buttons, put your finger on those. See if the buzzing stops. Go around and touch various parts. Touch the screws on your harp. Go around, if there's screws in the feet, touch those. Touch the metal plate at the bottom. Touch that if you have one. I found a buzz on a harp once. It was the paper label inside the tuning hole. There was a label glued to the back of the harp, and it had come unglued at one end, and it was shaking when a certain frequency, pitch, was plucked. It would shake sympathetically. And that one was hard to find. It's just a matter of doing the troubleshooting and going through the steps, looking at your strings. Sometimes, here's one. Sometimes it's the winding on your string at one end or the other. Best thing to do is just replace the string. If you've tried everything else, you can't find that buzz anywhere. It might be a loose winding on your string. Okay? And one way you can check that, it's usually at the very end, either up here or down here. Put a little drop of super glue on the winding where it touches the core of the string. The core is the wire that runs through the center. Put a little drop of super glue on the string where the winding comes out of, or where the core comes out of the winding. Put a little drop of super glue there, and put one at the other end. Let it dry. See if that makes the buzz go away. It will also kind of mess up the tone of the string, so it's not going to repair the buzz, but it will tell you, hey, it was the string. So then you have to get a replacement string and put a new string on, and then the buzzing will go away. So you go through all of those different steps, you find the buzz, you eliminate it, and you're a happy harper again. The last thing I want to mention is that if you are a beginner and you're not getting a good, clean, strong push on your chord bars, especially down here at the bottom, they can sound kind of leaky. You can get these sounds because you're not pressing down far enough. And at the very bottom of a harp, these chord bars are real near this bottom string anchor. And you have to push really hard to get them to damp down. And that is probably the #1 question I hear from beginners is my harp supposed to be making that sound? And I say, are you playing on the very bottom buttons when it makes that sound? And they say yes, and I say you're not pushing hard enough. Unfortunately, the bottom on a 21 chord especially, the bottom buttons are too close to the string anchor and they just sound like that. So we put our favorite keys up here in the middle of the harp so that they don't sound bad. Okay, so that's my Stalking the Wild Autoharp for this week. I'm Hal Weeks. I'll see you next week on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Bye-bye.